Busy people and lots of Yaleys, Worcester hipsters and fed up townies. We have more than pizza in common, with two rocks for bookends. New Haven, New Haven, New Haven, between two rocks.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Between Two Rocks podcast. This is episode 8. I am your host, Josh Levinson. Thank you so much. I think this is the first time I've introduced myself, so if you don't know who I am, I write Between Two Rocks. If you don't know who I am, I don't even know how you got here. This is amazing. Please email me at josh@betweentworocks.com and tell me your story. I want to know, how did you get here? This episode is going to be super fun because I have a special guest host from the bright lights of New York. Whoa. I know. He is a comic. He was born in New Haven. He's on the Fantasy Film Ball podcast. Thank you for being here, Shawn Murray.
Yeah, man. I actually was born in Queens. I lied to you.
Oh.
But I lived in New Haven.
You let me just run with that. You were just like, nah, I'm not going to.
I wanted to make you a liar on your own podcast.
Right. And quickly, too. You weren't even like, you didn't draw it out at all. You were just like, yeah. Oh, boy. I kind of cut out. All right. Anyway. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, you earned it.
Oh, thanks, dude.
No, that's the right to have my presence.
I don't know if that says more about me or you, but that's all right.
We'll never know.
Yeah,
who it says more about.
And my guest this week was somebody who Shawn. I kind of approached Shawn. I was like, "Who do you want on this podcast?" And he had two names, one of whom was too elusive, and I just couldn't get him.
We'll never get
We'll never.
You're probably more likely to get him now that you're here.
Yeah.
And you're not in your attic.
I mean, I guess.
Because he's like, what, a 10-minute walk from here?
Yeah.
I don't know where he lives, but I'm saying it's
Yeah. It's Bunlai, by the way, if anybody's curious from me is. But he's all Hollywood now, so.
He's pretty Hollywood.
He is pretty Hollywood.
He was pretty Hollywood before he was pretty Hollywood, though. I remember I went in there once. I went in there, the first time I ever went in there, and I was like, I'm looking at the menu, and he's like, you should try this. I didn't know it was him. Like, I didn't know he owned the place. He was just sitting with a table with his friends.
Yeah,
he's like,
hanging out.
He said, you should try this and that. And then I was like, okay, great, man. And then I tried it. It was all awesome. And then I was leaving, and they were like, oh, those things that guy told you to get, those are all free. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, who was that? He's like, oh, that's the owner. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Nice. And yeah, I like how I started this. I'm like, I'm not going to freeze anybody out, and I immediately did that. So,
we haven't introduced.
Guest, yeah, right.
Okay.
Our guest is Ashley Raymond, aka Draft Side View. You run, I don't even know how to describe it. Content production.
Yeah, so I do a bunch of stuff. I primarily write though, but I've been getting into like video production, conducting interviews with different artists or creators. Whatever you guys want to call yourselves these days.
I mean, I think that's just what
the
like
kids are saying.
Slate calls us. I don't think any content producer would call themselves that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I make stuff.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I see that you kind of like went through like a rebranding recently, right? Like your website changed significantly since the first time I looked at it,
Yeah, I just felt it was childish, and I was like, it's time to grow up. So I just did the whole thing over.
I've never felt that. And that is, I've never felt it's time to grow up. I'm still.
Usually I don't, but I was like, nah, this shit gets on my nerves, like looking at it. So I was like, I gotta do something.
And like the ancient tradition where a girl becomes a woman, she redesigns her website.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As the old texts say.
Once a month, comes a time where a woman has to redesign her website.
Exactly.
Boy, I'm confused.
But yeah, no, I wanted it to be like more of a portfolio just to show the things that I've done. But I still wanted to keep that writing aspect, so my blog is still up there. But it's definitely more curated to just things that I like. It's not going to be like a thing where it's like a platform in that sense. It's not like the Fader website where it's like you go there for, you're going there for like music.
Right.
Like, it's going to be kind of just shit I like.
And your first, like where you started was you wanted to write about hip hop or music, right?
Mm-hmm. And I still do. And I love hip hop. I love writing about hip hop. I love talking about it, going to shows, all that stuff. So
You know
that
who likes
aspect-
hip hop? This guy, Sean.
No
yeah.
way. I had no.
I don't like hip hop so much as I like content.
Just a big content
So it's-
consumer. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So it's good that the rebrand is happening. So it's more content.
The nice thing about rap is there's just so many lyrics.
Yeah,
So it's,
yeah.
just, it's really more
Endless
content, per
yeah,
minute.
yeah,
Right,
than any other
exactly.
It's all about that CPM, you know?
content per minute.
That's right.
But yeah, I just wanted, because I like a lot of different things, and I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things, so I didn't want to like freeze
Yeah,
anybody
no, it
out
looks
of
like
that,
it
you
looks
know?
like it looks kind of like you expanded your scope, you know,
Yeah,
like you kind of
absolutely.
had like one idea, like all right, I'm writing about hip hop, which probably like your writing's wonderful, like it's
Thank
very impressive. Like
Thanks.
I'm just like, wow, man, I know most of those words, but it wouldn't occur to me to put them together like
In that way?
Yeah, no,
Sweet.
it's cool.
This is a very anti-freeze out podcast so far. She doesn't want to freeze anybody out. You don't want to freeze anybody out. I'm totally in favor of freezing out whoever I come across.
as long as you're in the in group,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You've
As
got
long as
that-
I'm in the warmth, anyone else
you've
can
got that
be
bully
frozen out.
gene where you're just like, I don't care who,
Yeah,
Right.
I just need to elevate over
yeah. As long
somebody.
as I'm with the it crowd,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Anyone else can get frozen out.
However much therapy this ends in, not my problem.
Right.
That's good. Okay.
But yeah, that was my whole thing. I wanted to just show my range as well, and also incorporate other people who may be better at certain aspects. So hopefully, I can get a couple of contributors here and there as well.
Let's talk about contributors. What does that mean? Just
They're just people you don't pay to write stuff for your blog.
Yeah. But ideally, I totally would love to, but I'm broke. So
Yeah, no, I'm
You
with
know.
you.
can't relate.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
fancy.
I can tell from your fancy sweater, sweatshirt, whatever hybrid that is.
It's a lot of things.
It is. Yeah,
It's a
nice.
blanket.
Yeah.
It's a
It-
roof,
Yeah.
if need be.
It's tie-dye, so it's like throwback to a
Right.
different era, you know?
Hippie.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I actually, and one of the things I've noticed about having a blog is I'll have a lot of people reach out to me and be like, I would love to write, but when it comes to actually following through, there's like a huge gap between people who think they want to write and
Right.
people who actually write.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, or even, they might start and like, oh man, I got to write like however many words. It's like, yeah, I'm not even censoring these people or telling you
Right.
what to write about. It's like,
Right.
no, go to town. I want to,
Exactly. So I had I actually reached out to this one contributor that I've been following on Twitter for a while. His name is Lee, and he writes about film. But he also raps too. But he loves film. And
I mean,
he loves
everybody
music.
raps, right? Like,
Right,
we all
but
have like
he's
a side
actually
gig.
really
I
good,
believe that's how
though.
Martin Scorsese got his start. He was
That's
a
right.
director and a
And a
rapper.
rapper. Yeah.
No, but primarily he's a rapper, but he loves film, and so like he's always like critiquing film and stuff. So I wanted it to still be kind of music, hip hop oriented. So I wanted him to write about mid-90s because that is very much about like hip hop and just the culture, like that kind of misfit culture, that hip hop kind of started out of as well. So I wanted to keep
You know who wrote a
all of it
review
like
about
that.
that movie?
this guy.
Sean Murray,
No
I
way.
think.
Did he?
I think,
Wow.
yeah. As one of his several Medium readers, I feel like, yeah.
One of, I don't want to say how few.
Hey, I mean, we've all got hit counts we're ashamed of. I wouldn't
Right.
worry about it. This is a safe place to
You're
discuss
right.
your.
That's the
Lack
worst
of
thing they
traffic.
ever did is to allow you to look at your stats.
For real.
Like, I was like, I don't.
As
know.
soon as somebody made like a web counter, it's like, oh
Yeah.
boy, it's all downhill
Yeah.
from here.
Right.
Now I know how a few people like me.
Yeah.
And then most of those hits are you checking to see how many hits you got.
I
so
do
it's just
think
like-
that it. I don't think it counts those. I do think it does sort of like
Does it know?
I
Oh,
think it
I
does.
so
I
hope so.
I think it
because
does.
I'll be on that shit like.
Yeah, no, I think it. No, at least in terms of like repeat, like it because you keep coming from this. If you keep hitting it from different places,
Yeah,
then
then it's-
probably
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I often go to different libraries
That's right.
to get online and check
your
my
stats up.
stats.
Hell yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I try to be inclusive as inclusive as possible, but I'm still very selective.
Is it
Right.
difficult to find local contributors?
Yes,
Mm.
I think so.
It is. Yeah. There's a city of only about 130,000 people. So
And people do want to get paid, and that's fine. Like I'm not gonna knock that. I'd like to get paid too.
Sure, we all wanna get paid,
like
yeah.
money's cool.
I assume we're all gonna get checks after this. I don't know how podcasting works, but I mean, I feel like we're in this studio, so I assume that somebody's gonna pay us.
But yeah, it's tough, but it's just like whatever. It's gonna get done regardless.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
type
that's
person
important.
I
Like
am.
one of the things I've found is that like this last year, I started like looking for advertisers a little bit for the blog, just because it's like I've had it for like 3 years, and I'm like I get somewhat consistent readership, and at least the people who do read it are like very focused. You know what I mean? There are people who will probably go to your restaurant, like they're not gonna just tune you out. So, it is hard to like do it though. Like I'd like to reach out to like a hey, come advertise on my shitty website. It'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
great. Like give people 10% off. They'll love it. Or but it's like but it. I think it was like after 3 years or so where I was like, okay, I feel okay about this. Like, and now like, I think it was just consistently doing it that people had heard about it. Like, oh, even if they didn't read it regularly, they're like, all right, I heard about one article you wrote that one time that
Right.
did spread.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you just need that like one or two to like, I mean, viral in New Haven sense is pretty, like if I get like 1,000 hits, I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that's somebody from the suburbs had to have hit that, like, for sure. Somebody in North Haven was like, hell yeah. I actually do have opinions about pizza.
Let's talk
Idiots.
about pizza.
Yeah, that's what we call anybody. Good old pandering. So draftsiView.com.
Yes.
It's got like all kinds of cool journalism and projects. You also model, right?
I do.
I saw you like modeling at the Neville Wisdom Fashion Show
Yes,
this
you rolled
fall.
up on me. I was like, "Who's this white guy?"
Sorry.
No,
yeah.
it's okay.
People are always saying that about me. They're always like, that guy is so white.
I say it constantly.
I don't blame you. I'm wearing a Legend of Zelda T-shirt. Like I just,
Nerd.
yeah, I am what I am.
Yeah,
It's too
no,
late to
it's cool.
change.
But yeah, I've been modeling for Neville for a while now. So I've lived in New Haven most of my life. I moved away in middle school. I lived in Florida for a few years, and I came back. And so when I came back, it was like sophomore year of high school.
What was Florida like?
Florida.
Did you like it?
No, Florida's the land of degenerates. Like,
Yeah.
I
Where in
really
Florida
was-
did you live?
West Palm Beach. So I was like South Florida.
Okay, so
Yeah.
not like because my uncle lives in like the middle of Florida, which is like
Oh.
the south of Florida.
Yeah.
Those people are like, some people forget that Florida is the South,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They don't consider it the South, which
No.
is weird.
but the middle of Florida is very much
But
full
But
of.
I
No,
feel that's a
absolutely.
testament to how weird Florida is. That it's one of the most. It's like the second most southern part of the U.S., but it's like no one considers it. It's just its own thing.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's got Miami and Orlando.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, 'cause everyone always say like Florida sucks, but like I personally used to live in the Magic Castle at Disneyland. So it was, to me, it was pretty great. Like
Yeah.
getting chased by mascots all the time. Like, hey, get out of here, kid. Like, it was pretty. To me, it was fun. It was always adventure.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. What happened? Why did you leave the Magic Kingdom? It sounds pretty good.
Right?
It was time to go.
Just
You know what I
time.
mean? It was time.
That phase of your life was over.
Me and Goofy had an issue, and
Right.
it was irreconcilable.
Yeah, I heard he's got some real PTSD issues.
Yo,
They don't
Goofy had
talk
a rough
about
life.
it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he
single
was
dad.
the
Right.
owner of a dog as a dog himself. So
Right.
it was like
It's just
he
a
had a lot of.
difficult situation to be in.
It was
How
like
do I
yeah,
provide guidance to this
yeah.
dog?
He was like, he had a lot of like internal issues he had to work out. He
I
was like, who am I to own this
Right.
dog? You know?
And you can't just stay there like for his sake. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
like I
Yeah, I
can't
wanted to
wait for you
help
to
him.
fix yourself.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta just hey, Goofy.
let people grow on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I try to come up with a therapist. Mickey's got a good therapist, so I try to like link him with.
Yeah, they gotta have great healthcare down there. You know,
Oh,
not for the people of Middle Florida, but in Magic Kingdom, I'm
Yo,
sure
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
healthcare.
yeah, you just go to Cinderella's
Go to
fairy
go to
godmother.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Right.
just brooms sweep up all your
Well,
problems.
that was another good thing was that like I never had to clean up my own space because like I could just like
right, the
talk to the
brooms.
brooms.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Come
Boy,
on.
you think they'd export some of that? Well,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Anyway, you were in Florida.
Yes.
Florida.
Yeah, no, it's
Different
the land
experience
of
from mine.
degenerates. Like it sucked. The weather, it's just you're sweating constantly. Like
Yeah.
you wake up sweating and you go to sleep sweating.
Mhm.
Lizards get in your house all the time. Hurricanes.
Hurricanes. People from Florida are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
that's one thing I
just-
noticed about Florida. Full of Floridians.
Yeah, it's just.
So I consider
awful.
it a huge problem, but I understand that other people might disagree. But
Why are all
Um,
these people from Florida here?
yeah,
Right.
it's just
Right, like
it's
ugh.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Or they're from
Right.
people who just fled other places. They're like, I just hate taxes. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was an interesting dynamic living in South Florida in West Palm Beach, and then I went to a private school in North Palm
Oh,
Beach.
honey,
So
duh.
yeah, it was a culture shock because I'm still poor, and these people had fucking money. And I
Okay.
was like,
So how were you at like a private school? Was it like a scholarship situation? Or?
yeah, like financial aid, like payment plan shit. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I mean, I did well there. Like, it was good academically, but, socially, like, I was like one of 3 black people, like,
Yeah.
in the middle school, like from 6th to 8th
The
grade.
Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
Right.
We only had one in Coventry, so and
I
that was a
mean,
public school, but
But yeah, so like, that was definitely a culture shock for me, but I had great experiences there as well. Like, I went snorkeling in the Keys for the very first time. Like, we stayed over like at one of the camp things that they had there. Like, we were learning about, the aquatic life and everything. So we went
like a nature's
snorkeling.
classroom
Yeah,
type situation.
yeah, exactly. So that was cool.
Snorkeling is pretty cool. Let's all just
Yeah.
stop and appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was
can we?
pretty dope.
Yeah.
it was awesome. Like, I was
Maybe
like,
this
wow.
podcast should just be about snorkeling.
Yeah.
I think I'm way off.
Between 2 rocks underwater.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Exactly.
They have rocks already underwater, so it works.
Between 2 reefs.
That's right.
Mm.
Well, the reefs are going to be gone soon, so
Yeah.
True.
that's.
Well, that's it. We got to get in there now. you gotta maybe a year and a
Grandkids
half.
don't even
before-
know what
yeah.
that is. What is that word?
But yeah, no, I made good friends down there.
So did it make you appreciate Connecticut more, or
Absolutely, like, and
yeah.
I think
because
I've
we're just
always
a classier,
loved,
smarter people?
pretty much,
Yeah,
like no,
totally.
and I've always loved Connecticut anyway. So like, I was really upset.
You were
when-
recording that, right?
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. We should probably get a bite of
Yeah,
that
just
somewhere.
get that. Use that drop.
Yeah, for sure.
I always loved Connecticut, like growing up, and so I was really upset, like when my mom was like, "Yeah, we're moving." I was like, "But why though?" Like, she just wanted something different, and I was just like, "All right, well."
Yeah, sometimes you gotta move
This is
around, try new
trash.
stuff. This is trash. That's
Yeah.
good. Even as a kid, you're like, no,
Yeah.
I can tell. This is just trash.
This is gonna suck, but
Nice. Because one of the things I
yeah.
remember, I was reading on your blog recently about seasonal affective disorder,
Mhm.
because winter's coming and a lot of people. I love winter because my depression is year round. So it's kind of fun to have everybody join in. They're like, oh, the world sucks. I'm like, yeah, duh.
Right.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome. Oh, now we're peers.
Yeah.
You're not better than me anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just regular, same decaying organic matter as me.
Yes.
But one of the things I really liked about it was that you talked about one of the things is to like get healthy. And one of the things you did is you said, I know a lot of people can't afford gym memberships. Here's some YouTube videos. I thought that was really cool. Like, do you like go out of your way to think about like, because for me, I'm not even sure what occurred to me like from my sort of privileged stance of like, oh, maybe not everybody can afford to go to the gym. You know what I mean? That's not an expense that in my brain is like, like do you think about that, or is that just kind of like a naturally like how you grew up and you're like, I know that there's like a huge swath of different type of people I'm going to be speaking to?
I think it's kind of like both. Sometimes I do have to be conscious about it, because even as I was writing it, I was like, wait, not everybody can afford the gym. Like, I can't afford the gym. I
Right.
know there's a bunch of people that can't afford a gym. But I also was like, well, I would just watch like YouTube videos. Like, I watch Yoga with Adrienne, and I do
Yeah.
those videos.
She's so happy though.
She is really
I can't
happy.
tolerate it at all. I was like, ugh. She's like the happiest person. She's always smiling. I find it very
Right.
grating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I was as good as you at yoga and felt so connected with myself and the earth. But, I'm
Yeah.
getting there. So no, I had to realize myself and just kind of double check, like, we all can't afford gym memberships. We all even can't get to the gym. So I was like, well, maybe this is something that could still be possible for a lot of people, even if, some people still don't even have internet in their home. So I was just trying to see, like, what are some ways that I could really, like,
Yeah.
make things as accessible as possible.
I feel like most people at least have YouTube on their phone.
Right.
Most people,
Right.
there's definitely some, but those people are probably not reading a lot of blogs anyway.
Right, exactly.
Your cross section has got to be lowish.
Yeah, but I went to school for exercise science, so I learned a lot about how the body moves and what that all entails, what's happening on a cellular level, and then down to like our entire like us moving as a whole unit. So I wanted to incorporate all that and just give kind of like a better explanation, because I feel like when we go to the doctor and when we're talking to a professional or even just looking things up on our own, there's so much to sift through. You don't really know what's true or not, or there's just not good explanations. So I feel like I have the responsibility with the knowledge that I have to present this to people in a way that's easily digestible and accessible. So that was my whole thing, like creating that. And I just was, being vigilant, and I'm seeing people like, they're like, oh, I'm so tired and it's only 5 o'clock and it's freaking dark outside at 5. Like, and so I was like, there's a reason
Perfect.
for
Just
all
like
that.
my inside.
right. Just like my soul every day when I wake up. No, but like, yeah, I wanted to.
See, I'm kind of into it just because it's
Yeah.
like, now I can just play video games, and there's no part of me that's like, you should go outside
Right,
and
that
experience the
too.
world. Like, none of that FOMO. Like, winter, that's just all gone. I'm like, I couldn't go outside if I wanted to.
Yeah,
This is perfect.
I wish Spider-Man had come out a month later, so I could have had a little bit more of an excuse to just
Enjoyed fall a little bit.
Right.
Dude, I didn't go to an open mic for a month and a half because I was playing the Spider-Man. I swear to God, it was just like, man.
No, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like you really cannot recreate the feeling of swinging on a web, dude. Like
No.
no set.
There's no drug
Yeah,
available that
yeah,
does
right.
that. Not
I mean,
yet.
there are drugs available. Like, it's all in your mind.
We will now
Right.
list them.
Yeah.
This is
But
podcasting
yeah.
a strange start.
And it was also honestly a reminder for myself. Like, I have my periods in time where I fluctuate with how healthy I am and how I'm just like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
just
I liked how
laying in
you kind of
bed.
came at it from like a. It was interesting because like I was like, oh no, is this gonna turn into like a whole new age thing? But you didn't. You like were right on that line of like your whole body operates together, but it was all very science based. Because like
Mhm.
for me, when you start talking about like energies and like chakras, I'm like, oh, all right, I'm out. Like I just like I'm an engineer. It's just not my nature to like
Mhm.
believe in extra
Mhm.
stuff. Believe what you like, but it's
Mhm.
just not for me. So it was cool because you're like right on that line of like, no, like it's all about like there's all these connected elements, but they're all like they're
Mhm.
cells,
Yeah.
like they're just part of your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I'm like, oh yeah, circadian rhythm, that's a real thing. I
yeah,
agree. Yeah,
Exactly. And and for
passes the
me,
smell test.
that's how I like science and spirituality are more connected for me than I feel like a lot of people understand. And when I was in school and learning all of these things, like I was able to make those connections. And so I feel like if I can make those connections and show them to people, like, okay, this is like physically happening in real time for you, but this also kind of is the same thing on just a different, level. Like it's kind of like the
Yeah.
metaphysical thing.
Like, do you meditate at all?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to you about that a little bit on Twitter.
Yeah, it's hugely beneficial. It was actually one of the things that led to me quitting drinking. Was like when I would meditate every day at lunch. I'm like, why do I feel so shitty all the time? Oh yeah,
Right.
because I drank like 3 or 4 beers at an open mic. And I'm just depressed now.
Yeah.
Like, this is just how I feel. And then, like, just noticing, like, how you feel, like, is a huge,
Right.
like, being able to just stop and be like, okay, like, why do I feel anxious right now? Why do I feel, like, whatever, and
Right.
just being able to stop and, like, put a label on it not only, like, helps, but it's just, like, also, like, oh, okay, it's just a feeling. It's cool.
Right. It's,
You know?
it's cool that I feel this way.
It'll
I'm
probably
gonna do
pass
something
eventually.
About it. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Hopefully.
Right. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
So you two know each other from high school, right?
Yes, but we didn't go to the same high school.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't go to the same high school.
No.
You just told me a bunch of lies.
No, I
so-
didn't say that. I said
All
we
right.
had mutual friends in high school,
Okay,
but we knew
okay.
each other in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like when we like
Oh,
met
okay,
each
I
other.
gotcha.
Right,
Yeah.
but we just didn't go to the same high
So what high school did you guys go to?
I went to the Cooperative Arts and Humanities Magnet High School,
Okay.
right here downtown.
Yes.
Okay.
And I went to Hill Regional Career Magnet High School,
Okay.
or career for short.
Yeah, I've heard of them both, so
Mhm.
that's good. So how
Mhm.
does that like work? Like, or is it kind of like a lottery, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
basically like rolling the dice. Like your parents are like, okay, I really want my kid to go to the art school, so like I'm hoping for this. And if they end up at Hill House, I mean that's just it. They're lost to the wolves or whatever.
Well, for me, it was kind of more like a Nick Fury situation. Like on my 8th grade graduation, like a guy came in a black suit, came up to me and he's like, "We want you to."
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
Like my test scores were through the roof.
Here's
and
your
they were
gun.
yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
I was
That
given
makes sense.
I was given a black suit and a briefcase
Sure.
at that moment as well, and I became.
Just guard this with your life.
Yeah.
We will not tell you what is in it. Cool.
But you have to go to co-op for 4 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a tough,
it was
tough
a
trade
commitment.
though.
Yeah,
That was it.
it was like joining the
This
military.
is just like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Weird. So weird.
No, it's no. I'll say this: Hill House and like Cross have greatly improved over the years.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're both really nice schools as far as like. I mean, I went to a pretty shitty public school.
Mhm.
I mean, there was just nothing going on where I'm from. But like, these schools are pretty big and nice. They have
Yeah.
like huge gymnasium. Like, oh, that's cool.
That's
you know?
the thing. We always like, even going to co-op, like there was benefits to it, but we always wanted to go to Hills because they had better, bigger
Sports.
shit.
Yeah.
We
A
like,
football team.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
yeah. We had, if we went to my school, we had to play for Hill House
Other
or
te-
Cross.
other
Gotcha.
schools, right? Yeah.
So is it like your? Because I know one of the things you know think about is like how much do you think that altered the like course of your life in terms of going to like an art school versus like Hill House? Like, how do you think you'd be different? You know, like, do you think the inner Shawn, the inner Ashley, would that still like,
Well,
it was a pretty complicated question.
No,
Sorry,
I just heard her like take the gas, but like, all right, go ahead. I was
Yeah.
gonna say something, but
well, for me, like going to career was
Like, what kind of school is career? Like, I know co-op is like a straight art
a Hill
school, roughly,
regional.
right? It's a Hill
It's a
regional.
Hill, yes.
So you're
it's
Hill
lo-
people,
yes,
okay?
Well, it's
Yeah, that
located
explains
in
a
the Hill neighborhood.
Right.
So there's a lot of different people that go there, and because it's a magnet school, there's kids from Derby, there's kids from Ansonia, there's
Right.
kids from Shelton, that go there, as well as kids from New Haven and Hamden,
Mhm.
West Haven that go there too. So it was really a big mix of a bunch of people with a bunch of different personalities, all that stuff, like
Right.
schools.
Was it like themed at all in terms of like?
Yes. So it was either like health and science or like business and finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, really focused.
Yeah. So I
But not
was,
like a trade school traditionally
right,
or anything.
Right. So I was health and science.
Right.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
So our
You're not a business
curriculums-
nerd.
No,
Come
I
on.
don't like numbers. I'm so bad at math. But so the
Fucking bullshit.
curriculums were like obviously slightly different. But as far as like requirements that we needed, like we all had to take a language, of course. We had
Mhm.
to take Latin. I had to take 2 years of Latin though. Because
Latin?
I was in health. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They were just like, how can we throw public dollars away in a way though? I mean, no, Latin is cool because you do get that sort of like basis of where language comes from.
Yeah. So that like, and
That's
I
what
love
they tell me. I don't know.
yeah.
Seems
I love,
a bit
I
wasteful.
love words. Like that's why I write. Like I love words. I love all of that.
Yeah.
So I was like excited, like
Mhm.
the dork that I am. I was like, sweet Latin. Like,
Nice.
We didn't learn Latin. I learned more like we had to take 2 years of white people.
Okay.
I had to
Yeah.
learn 2 years of like code switching.
yeah.
Hey, you're great at it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
Is that what you minored in, or
Yeah. I was majoring in writing and I
Minoring
minored
code
in
switching.
White Devil.
White Devil?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. That'll be
well,
good
I
out there, you know.
majored in taking care of white devils.
Okay,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
So
I
you
feel
know,
like both loved and despised. It's nice.
it's a fun spectrum to be on.
It
I'd
is,
say.
yeah.
But being there, it was
White Devil.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to apologize. I'm sorry.
Here's
I
your
didn't-
opportunity. This is
Yeah.
your platform.
Yeah.
Oh, we're freezing you out here.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're
it's all
frozen
good.
up.
It's all good. Sometimes, like, I remember, like, it's so interesting. Like, I remember thinking back, like, sometimes, like, people are like, oh, your ancestors, whatever. And I'm like, well, my ancestors were in Germany. Like, we fled. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, but at the same time, like, I have learned, like, yeah, I still get all the white people benefits. You know,
Right.
whether or not, like, I was here
Right.
Mhm.
is of
right.
little
Mhm.
consequence. I still, like, I can think back to times I was in high school and the cops, like, harassed us for, like, drinking and smoking in the woods. And they, like, were like, all right, we'll go home. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily something a person of color gets. You don't get that option of, like, boys will be boys.
Yeah,
Right.
we don't even get woods.
Yeah, well, right, yeah. You're not missing a lot, honestly. It's kind of fucking boring. I mean, it's pretty, but it's just the same. It's a lot of the same trees. Just they keep going.
I see.
And then eventually you
Much
just
like
find
white
someone's
people.
trash. Yeah, right.
Mm.
Exactly. Just depths of nothingness.
Yeah. Shout out to the woods though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No,
Shout-
they're nice. That's
Yeah.
good. It's one of the reasons I like New Haven is that like it's a city, but it's close to like woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can
Yeah, it's not too far from
you can go hiking relatively easily.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, West Rock is not that far away, and it's
Right.
pretty woodsy.
It is. It is.
hella woodsy. I got lost in there one time.
Yeah, it
I
is
was
scary.
hiking.
Yeah.
I was
It's true. I was hiking there, and I'm like, these are not like there's no trail maps.
It was like, and it was
Yeah.
like, it was getting cold and dark, and I was like,
Oh,
if,
yeah.
if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna get found like like sitting on a rock, like frozen, if I'm
looking
gonna
in
die.
yourself.
Probably naked. paradoxical.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
undressing.
Definitely naked.
I was
I assume he
definitely-
hikes naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I'm
just the
one with
natural
nature.
way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you ever answer? You just hate white devils, basically. Is that
Oh,
your
do I-
answer? About how your high school
I
experience
think-
affected your future?
I think it definitely.
Because I feel like you probably would have hated white devils anyway.
No,
you know?
yeah, that was ingrained in me. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
good,
Before, like that's why I did so well. I didn't have to end up taking the full 2 years of White Devil
Right.
because like I had been
You
learning
take
that
like
an
the
accelerated
entrance
program.
exam, right?
Yeah,
You skip
and
the
yeah,
first
they were
one.
like, "Oh, you're good.
You're
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
You
This
placed
guy.
at an advanced level.
I was
I don't know what my listeners are going to think a little bit.
we're gonna find out.
We
Right.
sure are.
Find out on the next episode. Send your emails to Josh@BetweenTwoRocks.
The nice thing about podcasting, you can't tell if you walk the crowd.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do they stop listening? Who's to say?
What was I about to say? Oh yeah, I can definitely like see the path it put me on. Like
Yeah.
I think, but I can like
Because you
from-
took writing, right?
yeah.
And you still aspire to be a writer.
Yeah, but like for me specifically, I was already writing like beforehand. Like I had been writing my whole life, but I could see like a number of other people that are classmates of mine that it had even a greater effect on. But like
Yeah.
I know like a lot of my friends from my hood were like at Hill House or Cross whatever. So I definitely would have been into a lot more shenanigans
Right.
if I was there. And there was a bunch of those kids at. There was some of those kids at co-op too, but it's like it's almost so much like it's very limited. It's like
Right.
like,
It's just less
like,
people,
yeah, there's, like,
more artsy nerds.
there's less opportunity for it to matter. You know what
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I used to work at this movie theater, and it used to be this kid who was like 18, and I was like 20, 21, 22, and he used to always be like I'm gonna go like punch the boss in the face, or whatever. Like there's no place for that here. Like you just gonna lose your job. And it was the same thing at co-op where he'd be like
Yeah.
none of that street shit matters here. Like
Yeah.
he's just gonna go
You're
to
just going to have one less job
Yeah,
and
that
one
kid's just
more
gonna-
assault
yeah,
charge.
Right?
yeah. It's like no one cares.
Like, it's
here.
cool that you're so tough, but
Yeah.
it's not a helpful skill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it definitely changed the course of my life.
Nice. That's cool. Oh, all right. Nice.
That's it.
All right. Well, great job, everybody.
We
yeah,
should talk about. I think you two are great people to talk about the disparity. Me and you are both from New Haven. Like we lived in New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
You are a transplant,
Yep.
right? So like,
Gentrifying white devil
Yeah,
is a
that's-
term I prefer. Yep.
Okay. Good,
yeah,
'cause that's what
I'm,
I was
I'm glad
thinking.
you have internalized that hate.
Well, the Jews are already so good at it. It's
Yeah.
also kind of a natural skill of self-loathing. So, like, I was ready, you know?
No, I want to talk about like because I was joking about the pizza thing earlier,
Yeah.
but it's like how much do people you know, specifically like young black people, care about the stuff that other people care about in New Haven? Like, oh, we got to come here for the pizza, or like come here to like. How many people do you know that visited like that go to the museums or whatever? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Like-
tourist culture. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like,
here.
Yeah, like my blog is a lot about, here's things to do in New Haven
Yeah.
Right.
versus are those things that people grew up here give a shit about at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Right, right,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's honestly interesting. Like I think, when we were younger, that was a thing. Like wanting to like go out and do things like at the museums or whatever. But
I do
Again, that
remember
was
wanting to
still-
go out and do things. But that phase
Like-
passed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Once the depression set in, we were
Right.
just like,
He was
yeah.
like, no.
I just play
okay.
video games
I like
now.
home. Home
Yeah.
is good.
Home is great, yeah.
That is even better.
The reason they say
Absolutely.
there's no place like home. Like, it's,
That's right.
yeah.
But
They don't got video games at the
That's where my
museum.
sadness is.
but I will say that like New Haven public schools especially, they made it kind of a point to like teach us about New Haven and bring us into these spaces and talk to us about like the green and how New Haven is made up of the 9 squares and
Yeah.
this is the 9th square. Like so we were
Like, do you feel
learned
pride
that.
about that, or do you just feel
I
kind of
personally
disconnected?
do.
Yeah.
Like I think that's really cool. I don't know how it works in other cities or other states, but I think
Yeah.
it's cool that they make it a point to incorporate some of that within our curriculum. But then once you get older, it's like especially with the neighborhoods that are in New Haven, like the Ville, the Trey, like the Hill, like shit happens there. Like people were getting killed.
I know
all
what
the
the Trey
time.
is.
Like once the violence started
Yeah, you
getting
picked
really
me up
crazy.
from the Trey earlier.
Pretty much. Kenny Williams explained it to me one time on the way to an
Shout out
open
Kenny
mic.
Williams. That's
Yeah.
my guy.
Yeah. He's still out there, I think, living with his grandma
He
or
better
something.
be still
he
out
better
there.
be.
He owes me money.
Oh,
No,
man.
he doesn't. I love you, Kenny.
Kenny, if you're listening, against all odds, we love you. come back to comedy.
But once we started getting older, I mean, and living in these neighborhoods, violence was around us, drugs were around us, like we were losing friends, like that shit didn't matter anymore.
Yeah. So one of the things I was curious about is, growing up in Northeast Connecticut, what I would hear about New Haven, because it was like in the 90s. I mean, yeah, I didn't have much choice in the matter. I don't know what to tell you about it. Like, I was just kind of born where I was born, it's just pretty ignorant, but, trying to make up for lost time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just hear about, New Haven, because like the 90s were a pretty violent time,
Yeah.
especially. And so, like, and then I moved here, and I was definitely one of those, like, regular old East Rock, white people,
Mhm.
whatever. And now I live in Edgewood. I bought a, basically it was an abandoned house. So I'm like sort of a gentrifying devil, I guess. But it's also like,
No,
like, what
not
do you think
sort
of-
of.
Right.
Straight up, no.
well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen my house. I'm not really making it a lot better either. Like, it's in no danger of like outclassing
Oh, for
any
sure.
house in my block.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess I'm doing it, but I'm doing it badly. Like, it's not, property values are not going up.
Right.
Like, it's, if anything, just staying the same.
Yeah.
But like, how do you feel about gentrification in New Haven? Like, do you think it's a huge problem? Do you think it's kind of overstated? Like,
The thing about New Haven specifically is like I think the gentrification, as opposed to a lot of it's like bolstered by Yale more than
Absolutely.
anything else. Like I think like the more Yale Yale is New Haven in
Right.
a number of ways, but like the more Yale the school like expands, it's like
reach. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
its reach. It's like that's where the gentrification really comes in. Like I've been seeing like over the last few years, like in I live in Detroit, which is
Mhm.
like the West River neighborhood or whatever, and it's like far down Chapel.
Yeah.
And it's like I've seen like over the years like more Yale-ish kind of people moving into it. It's like that is so crazy to
It's
me to
very
see from when I was like
Right.
when I was like 9-10 years old. It's like people, the only time you would ever see anyone from Yale in my hood was like walking down past my street to go to Yale Bowl, like for the Yale Harvard game,
sure.
and they were deep. They would be like
Yeah,
50 deep.
mad.
Like, it was
Right,
never like
right,
a
right.
It
solo
wasn't
guy
one
on a bike
person.
running with his dog along the side. Or whatever. It would
Right.
just be like 900,
Yeah.
or like the St. Patrick's Day parade, because it comes past my
Sure.
block as well. But other than
Okay.
that, like you'd never see
Right.
like, not saying you wouldn't see white people, but you wouldn't see like Yale types. You know
No,
what I
not
mean?
that
Yeah.
type of
Most of the white
person,
people you would
right.
see were also
Were
on drugs. They were
Right,
like, you know what I
sure.
mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really weird to see like,
Scary white people. I get it.
yeah.
Right.
And in many ways, the good ones.
Yeah. Sure.
They're not gentrifying. They just like,
Right.
That's
they-
true.
they
They're
get
just
in, they-
part of the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
they get in, get out. It's like
It's
they're like
character.
commuters. They come for the drugs.
That's just
and-
Earl. You know.
Yeah.
He's just on drugs. What are you
Right.
gonna do?
Right.
So do you feel like neutrally, negatively,
I,
like
I hate Yale.
you hate Yale?
Yeah. like-
Straight up.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like, they got like a fucking iron grip on New Haven, and it's like
absolutely.
the opportunities for. There's not really that many opportunities for people who live in New Haven to like benefit from a lot of shit. Like there are some great things that Yale does. Like like they have that New Haven Promise program.
Mhm.
That they like. You can pretty much get a free ride to Yale if you live in New Haven and you got the right grades or whatever.
Right.
But and it's like there's some job opportunities, but for the most part, like the people who benefit from Yale are Yale students, which makes sense because it's like
Right.
Cool, but
They
yeah,
protect
I don't
their
know.
own.
yeah.
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 So how do because one of the things I've sort of struggled with is like being a part of the community. Like, I am sort of an interloper. Like I came from
Mhm.
another place, but I genuinely love it here. Like I do love the diversity, the different types of people I meet. So like, how do I because I don't want to like force anybody out either. Like it's such a challenging situation of like wanting to be a part of it, but not wanting to like harm.
Here's what you can do: open your wallet and give me $100. Right?
You don't even live in New Haven. I'm not gonna help you.
But I do.
I'm paying you an
Yeah.
exposure.
Give me $100 and I will eventually. It'll trickle down. I'm a trickle down economics kind of guy.
Okay, that makes sense. I could tell you got that Reagan vibe to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
No, I don't think.
I mean, it's just a challenge because
you
it's something I struggle with.
specifically,
Yeah.
I see you as somebody. You're a pretty involved citizen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't. Like there's a lot of people who just move into a place and then they kind of just like,
Very passive.
yeah,
Right.
like this is ours now. Like you're a very involved citizen, so like it's also there's not that much you can do. Like it's not your fault.
No, I
Like,
know.
you
But
what
that's
I
the thing is like as much as it's not my fault, I still like would like to reduce my harm overall,
Right.
right? Like I just don't want to displace people. Like I don't like my house was basically abandoned for like a year before I
Mhm.
got there and I'm like, well, a bank owned that. I guess I'm better than that. Like,
mean? Yeah,
You know, because I was like, because I was like, oh man, I'm basically taking over somebody's broken dream, right? But
Yeah.
then it turns out that he basically sued his mortgage company. It was like a whole thing. I'm like, all right, you know, what? Never mind. That was a
Right.
whole argument, had nothing to do with me, you know. But it's like, I don't know. It fascinates me to kind of try to find your place in a place where you're not from, but like, you know, there's so many different groups of people here that I find fascinating, you know.
Well, it's just like I don't know. I don't think like even just gentrification, like not even on an individual level, but like
It's like sweeping,
on a like a larger macro
But
level.
like
it's
I benefited from that. Like I got the Yale home buyer program. Like I work for Yale.
Know what you mean, though, but it's
I
like-
am, you know.
I think it's just about like meeting people halfway. You know, like you know,
Yeah.
sometimes so many times like you always talk about you hear about when gentrification hits a city, it's like, oh, there's a new coffee shop, there's a new cheese place, and it's like nobody in this neighborhood cares about that cheese place except the people who moved in and put it there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I think the thing is to like blend the interests of the two.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's so many fucking like me personally. I like you know I eat ramen. I eat like you know a lot of the new restaurants in New Haven. But it's
Sure.
like, most people like that's what I was saying like before about like a lot of my friends like a lot of people I went to co-op with specifically because like co-op was in our school and also we were downtown. I've been to every museum. I've been to like I've explored that stuff. But like a lot of people like. I don't think anyone I grew up with on my block has ever been to the Yale British Art Gallery or the Yale Art Gallery ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, cause they don't, that's not their interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not like a slight to either, like it's not a slight to the Yale Art Gallery or to them. It's just like, that's not their interest. But like, there needs to be more stuff.
Yeah. They should check it out.
They
though.
should be
It's
open to
so
more
free.
communities.
It's so
it's
good.
It's great. I love it. I
Honestly.
go there all the
Actually
time.
went there the day after the last election just
Mhm.
because I was like, it was like my birthday and Trump was president. And I was just like, I want to die, but I need to see something beautiful.
Right.
And so it didn't really help. But, you know,
Yeah,
that was a good idea.
Right. You know, for me, it's
Very complex.
yeah, like
it would take more than one part of one podcast to figure out.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I was just curious
But
because you
I
guys
mean,
are locals and, you know.
I'm kind of, you know, aligned with Shawn there. Like I don't like it. It's upsetting. I've watched downtown transform over the past 10 years. I've been living since I moved back. I've been living here for 10 years now, and like it didn't look like this over here.
Yeah.
It didn't look like this.
Like even they sold like this building because they couldn't afford it because it's like public housing.
Yeah, like all of these storefronts over here now,
Mhm.
they've all closed. Like even Broadway has changed completely
Oh my God, yeah.
from when I was in high school. Like Educated Burger's gone. I'm
I miss
fucking
Educated
pissed.
Burger, yeah.
Like that, it was so good.
Cutlers.
Yes. Oh my God, Cutlers. Like
I mean, people don't buy records though.
No,
They
no,
go,
I-
yeah.
that's the
but it
fault of
was
gentrification,
there,
but-
yeah,
You guys
but it
understand how
was-
supply and demand works,
Yeah.
right? Like I
Yes.
don't know. Did they explain that at art school? I don't know that like that should have been chapter 4 of White Devilry. I don't understand. Usually,
Chapel Square Mall though. Chapel Square Mall was good.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, malls are just dying.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
was ahead of the curve, if anything.
But then it just goes to show again, like how you know Yale just bleeds into everything.
Yeah.
But the even more frustrating part about it is these students that come to Yale,
Was people too
Faculty.
strong of a word? Did you feel that
I
like
felt-
they didn't earn
Excuse me,
that?
I didn't
I
even say
felt
people. I was students.
Like,
I'm
I-
sorry.
You're just like, I mean, are they
I felt
humans?
like
I don't
it
know.
was like-
It's like she said Negro, meant to say black. I mean, not people, students.
Right, I didn't want to make it seem like, oh, you guys, I'm spitting on you. Like, no, but like the students, the
These
faculty, the
people.
administration, everybody that like that works within Yale. But the students especially, you know, it's catered so much to them and their families. They don't stay here after
Right.
they leave
No.
or after they graduate.
I actually do know a couple. I do know a couple.
a couple.
I couple. Honestly, I'm impressed with those couple
I was-
though. Like they
exactly.
stuck around.
I was talking to somebody, like, prime example of, like, putting shit in the neighborhood that no one cares about. Like, you know that Gant store right off of Broadway?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, nobody, this is, like, the idea of what a Yale student would
Right.
shop at. Even Yale students don't shop there. It's just a
No.
place for, like, when people come to visit Yale, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what Yale students wear. I'm gonna, like, you know,
Right.
buy this.
$400.
Yeah, like,
Right.
Yeah, when in there, I was
exactly.
like, I'm like,
Yeah,
even as
yeah.
a white devil, I can't get
Yeah.
that behind that.
yeah,
It's
it's
just,
like this. Who
just
is
not my
this
style.
for?
Right.
Or like the LL Bean store or whatever. Like I like LL Bean.
Yeah.
Like, but like my friends don't give a fuck about LL Bean.
It's
dude.
honestly too fancy for me. Even
Yeah, it's
I
like-
was like, holy cow, a $70 backpack.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like-
up for that. No.
it's like I like the name LL Bean more than I like paying for an LL Bean product. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like that's something that like they think Yale students are gonna be into, and it's like there's so much shit.
Right.
Based on how many people I've seen that store, I think they misjudged a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll see.
But exactly, it's like they they catered so much to Yale students and their families.
So we have to destroy
That-
Yale, is what you're telling me.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Burn it
There
to
are
the
some
ground.
charges that are being placed as we speak
Oh.
right now.
This Nick Fury thing is a real long game. All right, cool. That high school is weird. A lot of sleeper agents.
And
Okay.
and so yeah, the students, they don't stay here after they graduate. They don't try to help bridge those gaps between the Yale community and the actual residents here. They don't, when things are free for when Yale makes things free to the community, it's free to
You know what's interesting?
here, Yale downtown. They
Yeah.
don't-
The few people I do know who have
advertise it.
stayed are
Mhm.
not like straight white people. They're like Hispanic or like
Mhm.
like there are other things. Like they're
Mhm.
not like necessarily any one thing, but they're not straight. They're not
Right.
regular old
They're
white
not
folk.
male.
Oh, you know, it's another
Well,
good,
they're actually mostly ladies, and yeah, interesting.
another good example of like shit that like Yale does that's not available. Every year Yale has this kind of like secret music festival.
Oh no,
Yo.
I know.
I remember
Yeah,
one
with, like,
time Vince
Diplo.
Staples, who's
Oh,
one of
yeah.
my favorite rappers, one of my favorite
No.
people. Vince Staples was at Yale performing at that, and
Yeah.
I saw, cause he put it on his Snapchat
Yeah.
story. That's when we were still using Snapchat. And
Right.
he was like,
Well,
he
so
was
that
like-
is done now.
yeah. I'm
Everybody's using Instagram now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I never know.
Only people I
what
know
you
who still
kids are
use
doing.
Snapchat are
Yeah.
like 20 and younger.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so and he was like, he put it like, he's like, I'm riding around New Haven. I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, I went down to Yale and like, you just couldn't get in if you were
Yeah.
just. I was like,
No, my friends like would somehow secretly get tickets because I know they saw like Diplo, but I don't know how they finagled their way because they're definitely not Yale affiliated
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. So I
Right.
don't know like how that works. Like, oh, I'm like, I don't
Right.
Diplo. No, it's not for me.
he was like,
It's
yo,
fine.
you know how many like, I would have been. I know
Yeah.
so many people who went to that Yale.
That is a
that
great
Vince
example,
Staples,
though. That is a great
concert,
example
like,
of
yeah.
like,
I was
yeah, something that's
so-
only for the privileged few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
Even Yale, they have a Black Solidarity Conference every year, and it's with the Ivy Leagues and their Black student unions and Black student associations that will come to New Haven, and they have the whole thing, whatever, and then they have a concert afterwards, and that's still not accessible either,
Yeah.
and that's just weird to me because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, New Haven is a black ass city, like
Right. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on
yeah,
there.
yeah, it's just like very elitist, and I don't
Yeah.
like to use that term a lot, but that's
Yeah.
really what it is. Like,
Yeah.
and
Do you know
that makes me
Caroline? Do you know Caroline Smith?
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's like she went to Yale, but she runs Collab now, which is like a startup incubator type. But one of the things she's been working with Yale to try to help them be more like, don't just call this a dangerous neighborhood that nobody should go to.
Literally,
Like tell people maybe to explore the neighborhoods, and it's not just like
right.
which I think is an uphill battle, but
It is. Like I did an event at the Afro American Cultural Center, and I was just speaking to one of the girls that like works there, and I was also speaking to the interim president of the Yale Black Women's Coalition, and I was asking them like, how do Black people at Yale like get on with each other? Like what
Yeah.
is it like? Like, and because from the outside looking in, like I always see big groups of white friends and then the token Black girl, but
Yeah.
I don't really see groups of Black girls together or groups of Black friends together.
Right.
Like, and so I'm like, how do you guys get along with each other? And they were telling me like, people come to the AFAM house and they come to the events and stuff like that, but there's no real connections made. Like, there's no real like camaraderie made, and
Yeah.
that bothered me. And I'm like, because I before I transferred to Southern, I went to Fairfield University, and all the Black people knew all the Black people there, and we were always together. Like,
Yeah.
we always did things together. We always put on events together.
Yeah. I think at UConn it was like that too. Like there
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
seemed to be a group of people who were like, yeah, no, we all know each other. And,
Right.
and at the time it seemed silly, but that was a different era of my life before
Right.
whatever reverse wokeness is where I was at in college. So, my
And-
bad.
Yeah, no. So it was very interesting, and it kind of bothered me that like that's how it is, because it's like, well, wouldn't you want to be with people that look like you, like that can relate
Be
to
elite
your...
first, race second,
right, right, like
Throw off your ethnicity and take that sweet, sweet money.
right,
It's worth it.
that label, like, yeah, I'm a Yale student. Like,
I will say though, even like I work for Yale,
Mhm.
and I look like I could go to Yale. Maybe not right this second, but in general, but I feel like an outsider. Even like its gates are locked to me to some extent. Like I went
Literally,
to UConn,
though.
right?
But
Literally,
for real,
literally.
yeah.
I mean, they would probably hold the door open for me if I was
Yeah.
like pretending, but
Yeah.
still, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we're getting to that time where I like to play a couple games.
Nice.
Because it's just that time. I think it's fun to, not that I don't want to like keep going fuck Yale forever, but
Yeah.
we could just go on like that. So,
Honestly.
the first game I like to play is called Mayor for a Day.
Okay.
And so basically, I give you $1 million, do anything you want with it. You don't have to like get all their approval or any of that nonsense. You basically have like a day to spend it. If you want to like, I don't know, do whatever with it. So what would you do with $1 million for New Haven? And you can't bring it to New York with you to pay your rent, Sean.
Oh man, you saw it right through me. Like,
Yeah. I know Sean's looking out for Sean, so.
Well, that's good for like 2 months. So.
Right. I mean, because that's the thing. If I made it like 100 million, then you could like severely alter the makeup of the city,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like a whole different question. You know what I mean? But I think like with $1 million, it's challenging to be like, how can I make that? Like I think the last person was just like public art. I would just want to see murals everywhere, and I was like,
I
that's
do
pretty
love the
cool.
murals.
Yeah.
I would I don't know how much a community center costs, but I would probably do some upkeep to the community centers that exist,
Yeah.
like the YMCA
I
on
think the Q
House
House,
Street.
the new one is going to cost like $280 million or something.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay, so maybe not. Maybe just a couple
No,
more.
maybe like 80
basketball
million.
courts.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe just new nets for the basketball
No, yeah.
courts. Just some nets would be great.
There's a perfect example. There's a on the Boulevard, El Gaso Boulevard. That's not too far from my house. There's a basketball
Thank you
court.
for white translating that for my listeners. I really appreciate it.
There's a basketball court there, and it's like the concrete is all cracked or whatever. Like the courts are like the actual hoops are in pretty good shape, but like
Yeah.
the it needs like new pavement or whatever. I would probably invest in
All
stuff
right,
like
nice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I had a little money left over, I don't know. I'd be a bad mayor. I'd pocket it and
Sure.
I go
You'd
rob
be
Ford.
probably like every mayor.
Yeah.
I think that's just how mayors
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
that's- yeah,
how
that's-
politics works.
Yeah, if you don't agree to take money, you're not gonna be mayor.
Right.
Right. It's the Ganem rule. Come on, it's fine.
I think that I would donate some money to the food banks and food shelters. I know that it's better to. I actually saw recently that it's better to donate money because then they can use that money to actually get dairy and meat and whatever they need besides just the canned foods that they accept from the public. So I would probably do that.
Nice.
Because I know that there's been shortages here and other city or other towns and stuff, but definitely here because we have a pretty bad. I don't even want to call it a problem, but there's a lot of homeless people out here, and there's not a lot of places for them to go to get food, or
Yeah.
they run out. The places run out because there's so many people that need.
Yeah,
food.
those lines are pretty.
Yeah, and not even people who are homeless, but just food insecurity in general. Like it's a problem here with all these fucking restaurants here. It's really crazy. But
That's another thing. Though. Not to cut you off because this is your thing, but like, I would probably
but I'm gonna
bribe.
cut you off anyway.
I would bribe a couple of these restaurants to like expand. Like, there's so many dope restaurants that are only downtown,
Yeah.
and like when you go into like the neighborhoods, it's mostly like fast food, Chinese place, whatever.
Yeah. Even in
McDonald's or whatever.
Edgewood, like there's like
Yeah, like
nothing.
I would like to
There's one
see
fish
more.
place and-
Yeah, I would like to see more. That fish place is good.
Is it? Yeah, I keep
But-
meaning to go, but
But
I have to leave the house. I'm not
try
up
to
for
get
that.
more of those businesses to expand into like
Right.
places where it's like so you're not
Yeah.
eating the same garbage all the time.
Right.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
So that'd probably be my thing.
I think I would buy dynamite and then place it around
Yeah.
Yale.
Dude,
Yeah,
already
that was
covered.
also- I was
Already
thinking
covered.
that
Wait until
too.
there's a secret concert, but someone we don't like, not Vince
All I have to do
Staples.
is say the word right now, and those charges will go off. So don't even worry about it. You're gonna waste
Perfect.
your money on dynamite. It's overkill.
Cool, and then I'll just have to get a job at like See Click Fix or whatever. Like, obviously, we'll lose my job, which sucks. But I'm a programmer. I'm sure I could find
Yeah, it
something.
is.
Right.
You'll bounce back.
Yeah. All right.
Land on
Cool.
your feet.
Great job, everybody.
Nice.
Really killed that game. Okay, another game I like to play, and I'm not really sure how I feel. So it's basically fuck, marry, kill. But one of my friends was like, that you shouldn't use that term. It's like misogynist. I'm like, I think I've heard women play this game. Like,
Oh,
I don't,
absolutely, yeah.
It doesn't
that all
feel
the
gendered to
time.
me. All
I don't
right.
think- I
So
don't
you
think
guys
it
feel because you're pretty liberal.
Women like to
smart.
fuck and kill.
and kill, right?
Yeah.
Not as much
Exactly.
as
I
men.
mean, if you
for
think
sure.
No,
about
who
it-
does?
If you think about it, the female species of every other organism besides humans kills the man after they have sex with
Sure.
them. So
Yeah.
It's so
I think we
hot.
should
You ladies
get-
are missing out. I
I
do
think we
like
should get
a
hip.
girl I feel
Fucking head
threatened
off.
by. Honestly, I'm into it, but
we should
you
get
know,
hip ladies.
it's not part of regular masculinity. Whatever. Stupid. All right, so cool. Is it fuck, marry, kill? Marry, fuck, kill?
It's fuck,
Fuck,
marry,
marry,
kill. I
kill.
hate
Fuck,
when
marry,
people say
kill.
marry, fuck, kill.
Boy.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
weird.
fuck, marry, kill. I'm gonna say fuck, marry, kill neighborhoods of New Haven. Unless this is dangerous to you.
No,
We're
no.
talking shit about our neighborhood.
Step outside and somebody drives by.
I assume you were past that phase of your life. I mean, I don't know. High school, who knows? I know you are just nerds.
I know some people still, but
Right.
don't we all?
I know Chris here.
I'm sure Chris here would kill a lot of neighborhoods in New Haven altogether because he's a Bridgeport guy.
Right.
Shout out to Chris
true.
here. You wanna go first?
No, you can go first.
No, I want to go first. That's it. I don't want to do it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so all right. I
No.
mean, I'll start. It's fine.
Cool.
I will fuck. I guess. I mean, I hate to do it. I hate to do the white thing, but I'll fuck with East Rock just because it's so adorable. It was my first place in New Haven, and it was like when I lived there, I could walk to like the cute little market, and like that was the first time in my life I could walk to a thing to do.
Mhm.
Like I grew up in such a place where everything was so far away. If you wanted to go anywhere, you know what I mean. Or if you didn't have a car as a kid, you had a bike, but it was like a 2-hour bike ride. That's crazy to go somewhere. Like it's So I mean, I
dope
still have
up.
that love for that, even though now I make fun of them for being super white and they write me angry emails. I actually had somebody at Reddit be like, "Are you ashamed?" And I'm like, "That's a weird question. Don't what."
I would fuck. Period. No. I think I would marry probably like the area near like Morris Cove.
Okay.
I think I would always want to live over there. Like,
Okay.
I would marry that. I would fuck downtown. I would fuck with downtown like it's it's a
Stuff they do.
lively area. And I would kill the part of downtown that is Yale.
Okay, yeah, that's
Just
fair.
Completely remove Yale. Just keep the
Right.
restaurants and cool stuff.
Right.
What would you fill the smoking crater with?
Fucking basketball hoops.
That would be a weird city.
Yeah. It's all
That's the
centered around a
basketball
bunch.
district.
But you know what? Honestly, it would totally thrive because New Haven has some of the best basketball players. Like
Mhm.
we breed some of the best basketball players.
Shout
here.
out Bria Holmes.
Word. She's
Right.
in the WNBA now.
Mhm.
Yeah, killing it.
Didn't Terrence Waters go to like Georgetown or I
Mhm.
don't know? God, fuck him. Didn't go to UConn. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay. I think I would.
Thanks for throwing that whole format off, by the way. Usually I just do
Right.
like everybody does fuck and then everybody does marry, but no, it's cool
No,
that you
no,
just
well,
did your own thing. Yeah,
I'm a
it's great.
selfish person.
Yeah, no, we know. We met you, Shawn.
Let's see. Okay, I'd fuck. Yeah, I'd probably fuck downtown too. Like I like what there is to do here.
Mhm.
Honestly, like there's a bunch of different people coming in and out of here all the
Mhm.
time. So there's always things to do, people to meet. I'd marry Westville. I think it's a pretty cool spot.
All right.
I think it's also pretty diverse over there too, in regards to like the arts and again the type of people that are there. Shout out to Strange Ways. Shout out to Never Wisdom.
I do love Strange Ways.
yes.
Yeah, I got a nice little smother me pin.
Yeah,
great.
I hate myself. Yeah, and I would kill. Let's see. No,
These
I
are
don't
tough
know.
choices, right?
It is. It's hard.
I would kill
don't know.
myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I'd fuck downtown
Anyway,
for a little
thank
bit.
you, listeners. It's been a great time.
I'd fuck,
It's getting really
fuck
dark.
downtown
It's
for a
a
little
huge
bit.
mess to clean up around here.
I mean, that's how life works for most people. You
If you were going to
fucking
take your life,
around
how would
young,
you do it, Shawn?
And then you marry, and then you hate your wife, and you kill yourself.
Nice.
No, I would. I really don't know. It would honestly probably be Yale. Like,
All right, nice. Hey, there's nothing wrong with using a repeat answer.
I really
Yeah.
I
This
really
episode's just going to be
can't.
called Fuck Yale, I guess. Like, it's great.
I'm cool with that.
Great. I do need to keep my job, though,
No, no,
folks.
no,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
I
fine.
get what you're saying, but also
I would hook you up with another job before I destroy the
Yeah, for sure.
that means a lot, honestly.
You
Okay,
could
yeah.
work
So
as an attendant at one of the basketball courts. You could mop up. You could be a janitor, mop up the courts.
hey, man, I've had some shit jobs. It's fine, you know. It gives you character. Yeah, so I fucked with East Rock. I would probably marry Edgewood because where I live, and I don't know. It's such a Edgewood is everybody. There is every group of human beings you can honestly in one block. I can be like, oh, that's like a Yale professor, and that guy is not wearing a lot of clothes. And yeah, it's fun. There's a needle. Oh, I love these rap chips. You know, there's a lot going on.
Hasidic Jew.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You get a little bit. Oh, they're always trying to recruit me into their weird cult. I don't know what's going on there. I get it. I mean, but no, hard pass. I'm not that Jewy. You know. And then kill. I would probably kill. I'll probably kill Morris Cove. Just because,
Nice.
yeah,
Get me
just
outta here.
well, no, it's very pretty. I love it. Like I love riding my bike and like going down towards the seawall when you go hurtling down that hill. That's
Love that,
awesome.
yeah.
That's great. But it's also full of all the people who are like, if one more airplane goes over my house, like they attend public meetings and shut down
I hate
everything.
that so much because
Yeah.
it's like you chose to live
Right.
right
Yeah.
there.
next to the only airport in
bitch.
New Haven.
Like,
Yeah, and we're like, well, can we just use that 1,000 feet that's already paved? And they're like, no, you can't have 2 more flights a day. It's too you work during the day. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm killing them for the people, not for the view.
No, I get. Yeah, I wouldn't.
You
I would
know.
not be spending a lot of time around my neighbors. If
Yeah.
I lived there.
Nice. You'd be like a reverse gentrifying devil. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You know? Cool.
Changing it up.
So we're about that time. This has been fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to steal it from Comedy Bang Bang. I was like, do you have something you want to plug? Because this will be out in the next couple of days. Like, giraffeseyeview.com.
yes, go visit that, giraffeseyeview.com, Giraffes Eye View on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Follow me. I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, she's good with words, folks.
I am.
If you like pretty words, she's
Check me
got a
out.
real way with words. Yeah.
And pretty faces because I model too. so.
Right, and pretty faces. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, it's totally fine.
corner you in on your brain.
No, I love it. I'm brains and beauty.
Nice. It's a good combo.
Mm-hmm.
Sean?
What we got? Oh, Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Highbrow Sean. Instagram. Lowbrow Sean. Medium. I'm Shawn Murray on there. I post writing.
Not medium low, bro, Sean. That would have
Right,
been.
that would've been-
Yeah.
You should've.
Well, they don't do the username so much.
Right.
Blah 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 blah. What else? I do comedy and you
He
can
does
find
comedy.
my dates on. I post them on my Instagram and my Twitter. Don't ever come to my Facebook.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, you can find me at betweentworocks.com. I'm usually on social media as JLevNHV. Oh, what?
Oh
What's it,
yeah.
Sean?
Also, Fantasy Film Ball podcast.
Oh, right,
I
Fantasy
co-host
Film
with
Ball.
my
That's right.
Good friend Stash Makita.
Slash my roommate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slash border. Yeah, Fantasy Film Ball. Check it out. It's a pretty funny podcast. Sometimes, just like this podcast. It's got some hits and some misses.
Yeah, we had some bad apps, but hey, don't we all?
It
like that.
absolutely does. Yeah, so you can find me on social media, and I'm going to be on Ha Ha Hamden on December 10th.
Good
It's
show.
the last one. Yeah, it's a pretty fun show. It's the last one because apparently when 12 people show up to a comedy show on a Monday, nobody makes any money. So
Yeah.
it's the last one. Come out and show them what a huge mistake they made. It won't change anything. But yeah, thank you both so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. All right, we're out.
Busy people and lots of yellies, Worcester hipsters and fed up townies. We have more than pizza in common, with 2 rocks for bookends. New Haven, New Haven, New Haven, between 2 rocks. Ba-da-da-da, 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 ba-da-da-da. Between 2 rocks.